Hey everybody, Jason here today, going over a new tent that I picked up. It's the Academy Sports and Outdoors Magellan Outdoors Pro Series tent. And it's the SwiftRise Hub 3-person, or 3-person, however you want to figure that out. So, 3-person SwiftRise Hub tent, Magellan Outdoors Pro. Now, the design of this tent is its biggest feature. It is a hub style tent. What that means is that all the poles are done internally and you don't have to set them up. In order to set up the tent, you don't have to put the poles through sleeves or put a bunch of clips onto it, put them into grommets or little pegs in all the corners. None of that. It's all internally there. You just pull out main center points and it's up. So I'm gonna dive in and show you all the cool things about it and a couple of the things that I don't particularly care for. Keep in mind it's a $100 tent, so it's still in that budget range for most people. And like I said, the main feature is that it's super easy to set up and super easy to take down. Alright, so let's dive into it and show you what I like and don't like about this tent. Alright, it's a little windy, as comfortable as it is. I hope it doesn't interfere too much with hearing me, so you might want to adjust your volume a little bit here and there from time to time. But it comes in this box like this. It gives you the dimensions of 7 foot by 7 foot by 4.6 foot in height in the center. They fib a little bit. Most tent companies do. They're usually a little bit smaller in its measurements than what it claims to be on the box on the website. So keep that in mind when you're trying to fit a king size air mattress in here. It's going to be really, really tight because it's not quite those dimensions. It's about 3 to 4 inches smaller on each side, and your center height's not quite as tall. So keep that in mind. The downfall / trade-off to this style of a tent, as super easy as it is to set up, when it's all packed up, it's in this big long bag. And depending on what vehicle, trailer, trunk, truck of your bed, all the other camping gear that you have, that might be a bit of a downside for you. That's your trade-off. Really easy to set up. Comes in a big bag. Nice long bag. So, that's your trade-off. Keep that in mind. The first thing that I really like about it, let's go ahead and get this box out of the way, is the stakes. They come with some really nice, good quality stakes. This tent is not a super lightweight tent. It's not an ultralight tent by any means. The sucker actually has a good chunk of weight to it. He's about 25 to 30 pounds, all said and done in the bag. With that in mind, the stakes are nice heavy duty nail stakes, 10-inch long nails that are not going to bend and break like these little flimsy guys are going to do. So I can't tell you how many tents that are $200, $300 that still come with these garbage stakes that bend really easy, or super thin, pain in the butt to hammer into the ground and get out of the ground. These are garbage. They suck. Don't want those. Trash. I have a whole bunch of them. I don't know why I keep them, but they're garbage. They're trash. Alright. Next thing, so the good thing is that they come with really nice stakes. The next good thing is this pocket socket. What is a pocket socket? Other than the fact that it sounds cool, that's where you can put a extension cord, power cord, through that into your tent, and it's velcroed, so it still keeps the bugs out, keeps the weather out, and that way you can get power in your tent. It's a car camping, family camping tent. Some people like to have power into their tent for fans and electronics and all sorts of stuff. So it is what it is. If you use it, you use it. If you don't, great. Alright. One thing that I could care less for, some people like it, a lot of people don't, is this little foot doormat. Yeah, real cute. To me it's pointless. To me it's more of a nuisance than it is a nice accessory. So I don't care for it. Never gonna use it. Never gonna bring it with me. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents on that one. Alright, one cool feature about this bag is not only does it have these nice Velcro straps for cinching it down tight once you get it in there, but if you ever have trouble getting a tent into its bag, so many people apparently do, I don't know how or why, but in any case, the whole bottom actually has a big long zipper, and you unzip it and it expands. Oh my goodness, the bag gets bigger on its own. That way you can fit the tent in there with ease. All pain and frustration is gone with this one. What a wonderful feature. Alright, enough said with that. Yeah, so if that is a struggle for you, no kidding, the bag expands so that when the tent is soaking wet from a nasty morning of rain, when you've got to leave, so many people complain that, you know, that always happens to them. It rains when they got to leave in the morning, and so their tent's wet and all the dirt and leaves and pine straw and whatever stuck to it, and they're trying to cram it into this bag. It ends up being a little more difficult than it was getting it out of the bag. So the fact that the bag expands, nice feature, cool feature. Alright, next great thing about it is rainfly coverage. This is a pretty good rainfly, pretty good sized rainfly. It covers more than 50% of the tent, I would say, and that's what you want. You want at least 50% protection of the tent from the elements so that you and your stuff stay dry. When you and your stuff get wet, that's not a good time. When you stay dry, that's a good time. So, good rainfly, good sized rainfly that covers the tent well is important. Definitely something to look for in all tents that you ever buy. Okay, the next thing that is a nice plus, we're going to go rogue here off the tripod. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, now, all of your major seams are tape sealed, whether it's sealed from the inside or the outside. Most of them are sealed with sealing tape, and it's good quality. They did a good job, I would say, in all the ones that I've seen on so many tents. They did a pretty darn good job. To me, that is a pro feature. Okay, next thing, the bug mesh on all the netting, bug netting. They did a pretty good job. It's decent quality netting. I've seen more expensive tents, this guy being about $100 at the time. I've seen bug netting that is much thinner and flimsier and cheaper quality. This one, they actually put some nice netting on, so they did good there. Alright, let's see the next feature that I want to hit up. Here we go. On these tents, it doesn't show you on their website on the setup processes. They kind of cut bits and pieces out to try to make it look like it's all that much faster and easier to set it up than it really truly is. So they kind of fib on that one. They actually claim, I'll show you, on the box, and you'll read it on their website, they say that it is 30 seconds for setup. Yeah, no, not happening, sorry. The process of from when you take it out of the bag like this, you lay it down on the ground and you unfold it to where you can grab the pull-out points in order to pop it up with the pull-out points, like you see here. That takes more than 30 seconds. It takes more like 40 to 45 seconds. And then you're still not done setting up the tent. You got to put the rainfly on, you got to stake all the corners in the ground, and then you got to stake out the guy lines that are on each side of the tent. And the guy lines, you have one that's attached to the rainfly right here, and then the other one that's attached underneath the rainfly to that center pull-out point. So keep that in mind. Total 6 stakes, 6 stakeout points, which is not bad. I've seen a lot of tents this size require 8 to 10 to 12 to freaking 20 some stakeout points, which is just ridiculous. So I could care less for that. They did a good job, only 6. So the rainfly and the side pullouts guy lines all go to the same stake on each side, so that there's 4 stakes going in the ground, not a whole bunch more. Alright, so one more thing I want to point out, and I have to go back on a tripod so I can point this out to you, is on the back side. This is kind of the biggest thing that I don't like about this tent, the bit that I'm not thrilled with. I'll point it out here. So this is the back side of the tent. You saw the sides. They have nice little mesh windows, and they're not huge. And there's plenty of side of the tent before the window starts, before the mesh starts. On the back side here, it's not like that. The mesh starts all the way down here, and I don't like that. I would like more sidewall of the body of the tent for protection from rain, from the elements. I wish they went higher up. I wish the backside was done the same way the sides were. Yes, you lose breathability, you lose the extra amount of airflow that you get from having so much of this side of the tent being, the back side of the tent being this bug netting, but I'd much rather have protection from the elements. Again, this is your home from home. This is your shelter in the elements, in the outdoors. Weather, as much as it seems predictable with the weather apps on your phones, it's not quite so much when you're camping. Storms happen, weather happens, and that you didn't plan necessarily for. So keep that in mind. The seam here is tape sealed on the inside, and I did spray with waterproofing spray the entire tent plus the rainfly. Both the tent and the rainfly, good tip there to spray both. So this back window wall here on the inside of the tent, the outside of it is sprayed as far as water protecting. The other bit that I don't like is this guy. This is like this plasticky, thin plasticky clear stuff. I don't like this. To me, this is not pro quality. This is not a pro quality feature to this tent. To me, it looks cheesy. I don't like it, and I question its durability, especially with storing it. I'm not going to store this guy in the garage because my summertime temps in the garage get pretty warm, and I'd worry about the stickiness of this doing damage to itself as well as the other parts of the tent. So he's going to get stored inside the house where it's more temperature regulated and less likely anything to happen to this. But this I don't like. I don't like it at all. So that's my big gripe. That's my one disappointment with it. So that's that. Now let's go into the inside of the tent and cover the rest real quick. The zippers are good. I like the zippers. They run smooth. They sound good. No snags. Once we get inside, the floor is seam sealed with the tape on the bottom here as well as around all the corners, so that's awesome. I already pointed out that it seam sealed on the back window. Good windows, good sizes on the sides. Wish they just did that on the back instead of this whole deal that I already mentioned I don't care for. All the corners are reinforced. Extra fabric, extra stitching, seam sealed, and the pockets for the poles here are nice and long and deep, and the poles are good, strong. There's padding here protecting the joint hubs where all the poles go into on the pull-out parts that you do from the outside. Up in the top corners here, nice long pockets, heavy stitched, good fabric, all reinforced at these stress points, which is very nice. So they definitely did a good job there, so I'm happy about that. Here's a little also fun bonus feature is you get this powered LED light strip powered by 3 AA batteries in this little pocket, and that's the press button right here, so you know where that's at. Mental note, do not store the batteries in here. Keep the batteries, say maybe in the stake bag, in the tent bag. Do not leave the batteries in here, because if they corrode, that ruins all of that, and that's nasty acid all in here, and possibly do more damage than you surely don't want being done to the inside of the tent here. So nice little LED power cord. You got a little hook up top here so you can hang another light or lantern or whatever. You got little cubby pockets here in this corner and then the opposite back corner. So you got all of that. These don't actually, when you roll them up, they kind of just tuck down into themselves like that, loosely. There's no tie out toggles or anything like that to make them nice and tight. They kind of just go like that. Same thing with the sides. The sides not being quite as big. It seems to tuck a little nicer, a little cleaner, just a little tighter, just because it's smaller, not as much material. Whereas the back, it looks much looser and sags a little bit because of how much more material there is. But you zip them all the way up, and you zip the back all the way up, and hopefully keep you protected from all the elements if you run into some nasty weather. So that's that. Let me get you back on the tripod here. One time I'll use this just so I can put my knee down without getting my pants super dirty. But overall, I think it's a really good tent and a good value for $100. There's a couple of features that I pointed out that I wish they had done differently, that there are definite improvements, could have been improvements. Of course, they probably will not listen to me and watch my video and make those changes unless enough people complain about them on their website. Which I would encourage all of y'all to do, but overall it's a pretty good tent, and I'm fairly happy with it, and especially for the price, and mainly the sweet features of how easy it is to set up and take down being a huge advantage, especially for those weekend campers new to it, or just want something that's so much easier to set up and take down, and simpler to do that, and faster to do that. When you're tired from hours of driving, or having to do it in the dark, or when it's raining or whatever, it's a great tent as far as that goes with those features. So keep all that in mind. I hope the video was helpful. A lot more info than what's already out there. So if you liked the video, click the like, subscribe, check out some of my other stuff. Stay tuned for some more outdoor gear reviews and first impressions. Again, this is just a first impression. It hasn't been subjected to the elements yet, so maybe a follow-up video there, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.